But this is how accommodation through Pinier's theory of cognitive development plays into how she was able to use this new information, add it to what she already knew, and move forward. There are, however, some limitations when using these theories to understand adolescence for her. Pinier's theory does have limits. It doesn't pay a lot of attention to sociocultural factors that play into her development. So outside factors aren't really taken into a lot of consideration, which is kind of really important, especially when it comes to the effect religion had on her and why these factors would move her a certain way. For Pinier, you'd think that she would be more interested in religion, while instead she's moving away. So I think it's a little limited in this way. It also doesn't tell us how her sexual identity played a role as she aged or anything like that, and that's kind of an important piece that is missing. For Erikson's theory, this also doesn't take into account how sexuality during adolescence affects us in later years. Unlike Freud, who honestly spends a lot of time when it comes to sexuality, I don't think Erikson gives enough attention to the effect that adolescence sexuality has as we age. Just hearing her stories, I could tell that her experiences in her adolescence have affected her to today. Erikson's theory doesn't take into account the cultural view, what is expected of young people. I think this plays a very big role in her questioning religious doctrine and that issue, and because she's having to do this, it's not taking into consider the cultural view of how difficult it really is to create an identity with so many pressures working on her. So I think there are some limitations when using this, though it was definitely helpful in understanding why she was doing what she was doing, the effect that these things had on her adolescent brain, as well as the effect that it had on her now in the future. So though they have their limitations, and I would probably apply more Freudian thought process to her sexuality, I think these both tell us a lot about how she got through this crisis and why the crisis came about in the first place. And then the reference that I used heavily was Rogers' Human Behavior in the Social Environment, Perspectives on Development and the Life Course. This book pretty much had everything I needed to know about these stages, as well as applying anything else when interviewing her. Thanks for tuning in and listening to this presentation. I hope that as it gave me insight into how we develop in our adolescence, it also gave you insight into how this has affected her. So, yes, thank you.